Hey everybody, so today I'm doing an oil change on my 2017 F350. This is the Power Stroke, and I am also doing my 30,000 mile maintenance as well. So I'm replacing my fuel filters and just kind of checking through everything to see how everything is going with it. So I decided that I was going to film it and kind of show you guys how to do an oil change on a F350 and how to also replace the fuel filters. So I am going to start with the oil change. I always like to undo this cap before I curl under, just kind of help the oil flow a little bit better. I do have my oil pan right here. Usually this truck will fill this entire thing up. Just going to push that under. I do have this wrench here and these tools. So we'll go ahead and crawl under. I went under here, kind of look too to see if I have anything leaking. That's just water there. So this is the oil pan right here, and I got the filter right next to it, and the drain plug is right there on this side here. Sorry, I got my fingers in the way there, but there's the drain plug right there. So I have my drain plug right here. It is not a 5/8. It's probably a 9/16. So I did bring this down here as well. And the 9/16. Oh, that would make sense. That was a 14 millimeter. Let me go over this way. There we go. It ended up being a 1/2 inch. Down there all the way. There we go. We just gotta break that loose. Typically, you don't want to get that too tight. And after I got it broke loose, make sure that my plug is not in the way. And I don't want to lose this. Now, it's pretty hard to do that without getting oil on your hands. But there, I did a pretty good job. Just got a little bit right there. But that's what jeans are for. So I'm going to let that drain down for a little bit. And then after a while, I'm going to go ahead and take the fuel filter, or the oil filter off, So I'm going to go ahead and crawl out and get a better position on that oil filter. That's draining a little bit slower. I can tilt that sideways. Make sure I got it underneath there. And this should only be hand tight, so you shouldn't have too much trouble getting this off of there. Unless your mechanic doesn't like you, he's gonna over tighten that, but you don't want to over tighten that because then it'll just be impossible to pull off. So I'm gonna let both of those drain down. So there you go, just draining down. That's the old oil filter right there. That's where the oil filter goes. So a lot of times people will pre-fill their filters. You don't need to do that. So this time I went with the Motorcraft oil filter. And how to prime it. You just grab some of that old oil and you want to make sure you lubricate that O-ring that's on there. Like that. Just go all the way around it. And then put it right back on place. And like I said, you only want to hand tighten this guy. So right there, it's already snug enough, but I like to give it just one more quarter turn to make sure that it's kind of tight on there. And like I said, you don't want to over tighten that, otherwise it'll be impossible to turn on or take off next time. And I'm going to go ahead and let that drain just a little bit longer. And I'm going to go ahead and let that drain just a little bit longer, and then I'll go ahead and put the oil plug back in. I like to wait until it's just kind of dripping instead of pouring there. Now everybody has their own preference. Mechanic shops I've worked in the past, they'll tell me to just put the plug in back in right there and then finish up the oil change. They're trying to get people in and out pretty quick. It's starting to thin out a little bit. Right when I could see actual drops coming out of there, that's when I put it back in. So right there you can see it's really slowed down. I'm starting to see drops more than just a stream, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil plug back. And this thing here, you want to get snug. So I'll go ahead and hand tighten it first. And I get it as tight as I can with my hand. Grab my wrench over here. I'll switch it over. I'll get it on there. And I'll give it just a couple cranks until it's nice and snug there. And I'll take it off. My socket got stuck on there. My hands are covered in oil. There we go. Alright, so now we're done down here. For now, I gotta go all the way to the back there when I'm done with the oil change to do the tank fuel filter, and I'm going to do the other fuel filter underneath the hood as well. Another thing I'll do is I'll go down and wipe it all down when I'm done, just so there's no oil dripping on the ground or anything like that. So the 6.7 Power Stroke actually calls for 13 quarts of oil. So that's a lot of oil. Let me go ahead and grab a funnel and start pouring. So this big jug here is actually 2.5 gallons, so it's already 10 quarts. I went to O'Reilly's yesterday to get this and told them exactly how much I needed, and then they only came out with this. And I had to go and run this morning to the O'Reilly's here in my town and grab a few more quarts. So make sure I get all that off of there, the metal. And I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring. And this stuff is thick. I'm using 15W40, which is what most diesel engines call for. Like I said, this stuff is thick. So the only reason that I'm doing this, I mean, if I had a newer truck, I'd probably want to, but the dealership I got this truck from, they don't offer warranties on their vehicles, so it kind of freed me up to do all my own work on my vehicle, which in the long run will save me more money on maintenance. But it's kind of sucks I don't have a warranty on this thing, so like if my CP4 pump goes out or anything like that, then there's not really anything that could be done about it. I mean, this truck does have high miles on it. When I got it, it had 143,000, and now it has 200,000, a little over 200,000. So I put quite a few miles on this thing since I got this. And this is a regular maintenance I do. I've been replacing the fuel filters every 30,000 miles. The air filters, whenever it's needed, I check those weekly. And I probably am due to get a cabin air filter replaced, and it's a video for another time. So something many of you may not know about me is I actually used to work in a mechanic shop full time. I actually spent about 5 years of my life working in mechanic shops. 2 years of that, it was a diesel mechanic shop. And then while I was in college, I was in the work study program, and I actually worked in the maintenance shop working on all the equipment and the vehicles that the college owned. So I've worked on a lot of diesel engines, mainly tractors and stuff like that while in college. And this does take a while. It's pretty time consuming. Sorry if my video is a little boring today. there. Finish draining out. Oh no. There we go. So this other jug I got here behind me is 1 gallon. And it only calls for 13 quarts. Altogether I've got 14 quarts of oil. So I'm pretty much just gonna have to eyeball the 3 quarts I'm pouring in on top of this here. It's nice and drained. It does have a little key on the side there to tell me how many quarts are left in here. So I'm just gonna kind of pour until it's down to 1 quart left there in this tank. And then I'm gonna go ahead and shove this in one of my toolboxes so I have it for later. Check. Can't really see it. I don't have good lighting here in my shop yet. Hoping to eventually upgrade and get a new shop, but for right now, this is what I got. Still got about 3 quarts left in here. Check it again. Still got about 2 quarts left. And that should be about 1 quart left there. Yep, about 1 quart left in there. So I eyeballed that pretty good. I'm just gonna let my funnel drain off a little bit more. I always like to check underneath too to make sure there's no leaks, which there is not. So this truck actually calls for 5W40, but when I was working at the maintenance shop in the college, we did have a few of these trucks, and all we ever used for all of our diesel engines was the 1540, the Dillo. So it won't hurt anything using the 1540 here. After using an oil change, you don't want to climb on in your truck. You gotta reset the oil life here. So you're gonna go to settings, vehicle, oil life reset, and hold OK to reset. Reset is complete. There we go. So then I can come back over here. And then you always want to start it up. Let it run for a minute, make sure it fills up your oil filter. Usually I like to let it run for about 30 seconds or so. Go ahead and shut her off. Come back over here. And I'll pull my dipstick. So I'll go ahead and pull my dipstick from my oil. And I'll check that, see where it's at. Wipe the old oil off. Go ahead and put it back in. And that's, let me see if I can find, there it is. So that's about where you want it, nice and full. Alright, so that is how you do an oil change on a 2017, excuse me, 6.7 liter Super Duty. Next I will do the fuel filters. So the fuel filter underneath the hood is right here. Now last time I did this, I actually did end up breaking this quick connection right here. And it's not very easy to find these parts for these. But I'll go ahead and start taking that off there. I don't know if you can see that or not. So they are just quick connect fittings. You can push out. I'm gonna have some diesel draining. Go ahead and get my shop towel in there so I don't have to worry about it draining everywhere. These can be kind of tricky. They could be brittle too. So you just want to try to be as careful as you can with it so you don't break anything like I did last time, because it's not fun to try to find replacement parts for these. You can get a whole new fuel line, a return fuel line to your CP4, but it is pretty pricey to do so. And this is the one I broke last time, so I'm going to be extra careful. I do have a replacement though, if I happen to break this one. I was thinking ahead, because last time I did this and I broke it, I was kind of stuck for a minute. I wasn't able to really do as much hauling as I wanted to, because, well, my truck was down. There we go. Just take that off. And from there, this does just twist out. All the way to the back. And you can lift it up. Now there's going to be diesel in there, so be careful not to spill like I just did. And I do have my diesel filter bucket here. Go ahead and take that. Now, I like these new 7.3s because they are self-bleeding, which means that if you get air in the line, it'll actually bleed it out on its own, which comes in handy. With the older trucks, especially like the 7.3 and all that, they did not have that capability. So if you got air in your fuel lines on the 7.3, well, you'd have to bleed out each individual injector. Go ahead and put the new filter in. There we go, lock it into place. And then I'll go ahead, it's not all the way. There we go, now it's all the way. I'll just put these back one by one here. Just check to make sure that they're actually connected. And then we're done there. Now I do have a buddy who works on a lot of these. I guess he's an acquaintance buddy. I text him a lot with questions. He works on a lot of these trucks, and he recommended that I actually replace this housing with something else. It's just a better filter, I guess, but I haven't had the chance to do that yet, but it's definitely on my list, as well as the CP4 solution. That's my CP4 pump down in here. And, well, these are just ticking time bombs for trucks. Now what the CP4 does is it removes any debris or anything before the fuel goes to your injectors and to your cylinders. But the issue with that is over time they will build up and eventually explode. So I'm hoping to get that sooner than later. It's I believe it's $1,400 part for the CP4 solution. So I'm saving my money for that. So this other filter is over here in the back. Got my fuel tank right there. And I wish I could drain this bucket, but I don't really have anywhere to drain it. So I'll get this in here somehow. Oh. Sorry for the shaky video. Let's see here. So this is my real fuel filter here. Now I need to get my bucket underneath of here, because this is my fuel water separator, and you got to drain that out first. So I can't remember how I did this last time, but I feel like it was a lot easier to get the bucket in here last time. But now it doesn't look like it's gonna fit. I gotta try something. All right, I found the smaller bucket. Okay, go ahead, get this under here. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin this off. And this does drain for a while. You gotta drain that completely before you disconnect everything. While I'm at it, go ahead and take this Look out. And while that's draining, I'm going to go ahead and grab my tools because I need to take its 5 bolts out. Like I said, that does drain for a while. They recommend that you actually drain your water fuel separator once a month. There it goes. I don't even know if you guys can see what's going on there. So there we go. Sorry, it's kind of blurry here. There we go. So that's just going to drain. It's starting to slow down. I disconnected that plug over there. I've got all these bolts up here. And I believe they're 10 millimeters. After that's done draining, I'll go ahead and check. I'll go ahead and check it. Oh no, dropped you guys. Sorry about that. No, it's gonna be blurry. Sorry, guys. So they're not 10s. They're 8 millimeters. All right, so that is completely done draining there now. It's just kind of dripping. I'm sorry it's so blurry. I tried to adjust it so it's not, but just kind of letting the last little drips go. I'm gonna go ahead and close that off now. All right, from here I've got all these little bolts I gotta do. Go ahead and break all these loose. Go ahead hit them with the screwdriver attachment. Maybe it's just 4. Alright, I guess it's just 4 bolts I gotta do. For some reason I thought it was 5. It might be, there might be one hiding on me here somewheres. Nope, just the 4, okay. Now there might still be some diesel in this when I take it out. So I do have my bucket ready. Last time I did this, I was actually in an O'Reilly's parking lot in Cave City, Kentucky. I was driving along and, well, my truck gave me a code that said low fuel pressure. And I called my buddy up and asked him what it could be. And he told me, well, you might want to pull over. It could be your CP4 going out, and you might have a grenade about to go off in your engine. Or it could be the fuel filters. I said, well, I hope it's the fuel filters. And it turns out it was the fuel filters, because I replaced them and my issue went away. I'm gonna get this last one with the ratchet. Find out where my reducer went. Sorry for the incessant grunting. That's my reducer. Alright, those all should be loose. And there is a 5th bolt hiding on me, I knew it. There's still diesel dripping from there earlier, so I didn't really want to peek in there to get diesel in my eyeballs. So I'll be able to tell pretty quick here if I need to loosen any more of these up, because it'll actually get caught on whatever it's still connected to there. Let me get my bucket back over just in case there's still some diesel in there. Of course. Alright. Usually you can just do the rest of those bolts by hand. Figure out which one's catching. Again, sorry for the grunting. Yep, I found the one that's still caught. Alrighty. So now that will just come right out of there. And there will still be diesel in the top of it. That's right, I remember now. I'm gonna go ahead and get my bucket out of the way and just drop this down. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all what this looks like. And it's actually not looking too bad, but still, at 30,000 miles, you wanna replace these so you can avoid your CP4 blowing up on you. Just part of the general maintenance. Wow. All right, so that filter is actually still, I mean, it's dirty, but it's not like that. This is the first one I replaced. I was told at the dealership that they had done all this stuff, and after, well, 20,000 miles I put on my truck before that happened. That's what it looked like. So that had actually gone about 50,000 miles, probably without being replaced. And this just pops right out, I believe. It slides out. Yeah, that's not in too bad a shape. One thing that you want to look at too is inside of here. Now, there is, looks like some metal shavings in there and some dirt. So that's what the filter's there for, to help you not have that go through your engine. I'm sorry about the quality here. My camera is being weird. There we go, much better. So you can get that dumped out. And here's my new filter, along with the new gasket. Oh. So go ahead and just pop that old gasket out. And pop that new gasket in there. Make sure it's all smoothed out. Hands are filthy. Take this out of here. What goes on there? Like so. Oh, other way, wrong way. Sorry, guys. It slides right in there. That's your new filter. Compared to your old filter. So I guess it was pretty dirty. Time for a change. Alright. Go ahead and slide this new filter on it. I'm just going to get these kind of hand tight there so I can tighten them up. Now I'm going to kind of cross this a little bit once I start getting them snug. Sorry guys, wish I could give you a better view of this, but I'm literally just tightening bolts up. Go ahead and get this corner completely tight. Come on over to the next corner. And once I get all these tight, I'm going to go ahead and go around just to double check to make sure that they're all actually tight. I don't want to over tighten either because you might break this plastic. And you'll have to go get a new housing for your rear fill filter. So those are all snug. So this is what I was doing right here. There's one bolt there, there's a bolt there, one right there, one right there, and one right there. And there's the plug in for that right there. So go ahead and just take this back down. So after you do get the fuel filters on, make sure that you just turn your key and you let the oil filters fill back up before trying to start it. That way that the system has a chance to bleed all the air out of the system. It might take a couple of tries before it starts, but yeah, just make sure that you give it a chance to bleed out. All right, so that is it for the oil change and the fuel filter replacement for the 2017 6.7 liter Power Stroke. I hope this was informative, and I hope that y'all were able to see enough of it. I know it was shaky, but yeah, I'm done with my maintenance for now. And if you did like this video and you found it informative, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this as well, as I need to do it for my truck and my trailer. So please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.